Run, step on his toes, and then fade him, Rashad. Run, step on his toes, and then fade him.
You need a punter to save you with a perfect. What is he doing? What? This is the XFL.
You need to change the whole entire game plan at halftime.
Hey, what do you need to change about the game plan? What are you frustrated about?
There's just a lot going on right out now. It's embarrassing for us here as an offense, so a lot of things we want to fix and correct.
Week 3 is done, and now we begin our podcast for Week 3. I am David Kleitch. I'm here as always for the XFL OL podcast. I'm here as always with Wesley Kleitch.
Hello.
I'm here with Bear.
What's up, y'all?
And I'm here with Josh.
Hello.
Are you guys ready to talk about last week's of XFL's football?
Yeah,
Hell yeah, I'm very ready. This was a fun week.
What was the biggest development of this week?
LA coming in and putting a thumping on DC at home. That was my big
8-2 the hard way. I'm calling it. I called it last week. I was the only one to call it, and I'm going to stay with it. 8-2 the hard way, you guys. This is a good team. Good defense.
Is a good team.
Yeah. I mean, they definitely made the defenders look like a bad team. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Vegas seems to think so, but we'll get to that
One
later.
of the memes that's going around is it's a Scooby-Doo at the end. Let's see who you really were, and it takes the defenders off, and they were just the Washington Redskins the whole time.
That's a great meme.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
Let's get started with the first game. On Saturday, we had the Houston Roughnecks versus the Tampa Bay Vipers.
This was my only pick wrong of the week. I hate it.
Just as much as we figured out DC or it might be a bad team, Tampa Bay didn't look that bad.
No, they didn't. They lost their home opener, but they battled in that game, and it made it very entertaining. And I think moving forward now, I know we're going to talk about it next week when they play DC, but I think they have a chance there, especially at home.
I do too.
DC better wake the fuck up after this week.
Yeah, Barry brought up a great point too. This was their home opener. I forgot, and they showed up in Tampa Bay for this.
They did.
Had
they did.
Some good fans.
I don't know
there.
why they still didn't start Quentin Flowers. They everybody wanted it. We wanted it. It was frustrating to see him behind. I mean, but he did come in later. And man, I was rewatching some of the highlights. He had a dime of a throw to Davion Smith. I don't know how he held on to one of those passes.
I think the story of this game, though, has got to be P.J. Walker has now taken a huge lead as your MVP.
Oh, for sure.
But I don't know. I talked to David about this.
This is actually a good question.
Now,
is it P.J. Walker or is it Cam Phillips who has caught the majority of all these touchdowns?
Yeah.
And
all his passing touchdowns, 6 of his last passing touchdowns have all been to Cam Phillips.
Yeah.
So
they'll be co-MVPs.
That's
now.
interesting.
If I had to call it right now, co-MVPs for sure because they both have been spectacular.
Yeah, this was a good one. Had a beauty, made Tampa Bay's safety look like an idiot when PJ stepped up, looked like he was going to run. Then on that, Cam took off and left the defender in the dust for.
One question I had about this game was when wasn't it when Davion Smith made that catch that there was a personal foul on the defense for unnecessary roughness.
Yeah.
And I didn't see the unnecessary roughness. I didn't understand what the
It was a hell of a hit. It was
a great hit, but it was with his shoulder, and he was making a play on the ball. That's to me that just seems like good football.
Yeah, and I think I've seen it happen in a couple games too.
I
The
agree.
NFL, it happens a lot in the NFL. I was hoping the XFL wasn't going to be like that, but
On the other side, though, we've got them taking their helmets off after plays and, doing extra stuff that would definitely get flags in the NFL that definitely get away with in this league.
Did you see when Tampa Bay scored a touchdown, they did like a little campfire in the end zone?
And the Houston
had the ball, and number 20 from Houston just walks up and steals the ball real quick.
No more.
Yeah.
That was really funny.
I mean, that's an elaborate celebration. You got to think maybe you have a person guard your campfire or somebody's going to come steal it.
Got to look out for them Comanches.
So that Cornelius didn't look bad either. Tampa Bay's other quarterback, their starting quarterback.
Well, Corn Dog is his nickname.
The finish is Corn Dog really his nickname?
I call him Cornhole.
Oh.
I wish Cornhole would stick, but he's playing a real cornhole. But
He's
his
not a
nickname
bad-
is Corn Dog. It
he's-
says that when he comes out.
He's not a bad scrambler himself either. 33 yards. He actually had more rushing yards than Quentin Flowers. Now he had a lot more snaps than Quentin Flowers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a problem. What's going on?
Yeah,
Mark-
and like
Mark
especially, well, I'm thinking about when LA plays Tampa Bay. Like if they have Quentin Flowers and have a mobile quarterback, I know Cardale Jones didn't have a lot of success against us this week, but with a mobile quarterback, like he still found some space, and I think that might be the Achilles heel of this LA defense when they're covering so well.
Yeah.
Is that the quarterback can get out.
Yeah, and we'll get to that too when we get to that game.
Josh, I wanted to mention to you because I saw during this game, and I actually called it, and it happened later in the week, but Tampa Bay set up a reverse on a kickoff return. They didn't hand it off to the reverse man, but it looked like they set up a really good reverse. And I was like, you know what? Because you said last week that you didn't think there'd be a kickoff return for a touchdown in this league. And I thought, you know what? If it happens, it's going to happen on a reverse. Well, then,
Spoiler alert,
yeah, spoiler alert.
And we'll get to that game as well too. But yeah, that is correct. Anything else about this game you guys wanted to talk about?
Tampa's next game. I'm interested to see because it's going to be another home game against DC.
Their fans showed up, and Tampa Bay showed up. Their defense showed up. Their offense showed up. They just happened to play the best team in the league. You know? So maybe
Marcellus Branch again played really well. Had 4 tackles. I'm really excited to watch this Tampa Bay team develop and come together. I think they might get their first win next week.
So Tampa Bay has now played New York in the opener, I believe, followed by who was their next game against Seattle, and then now. So they played. They haven't played the Guardians yet, so we haven't seen.
No, New York is the Guardians.
Yeah, that's that's right. Yeah.
They haven't played the Defenders yet.
Oh man, then they lost to New York. Well, bummer.
Yeah, that is a bummer.
Well, you know what? I want to see that game again. I want that week 1 rust taken off. I want to see run it back.
One other funny thing that I thought about this game was when the Houston coach, did you hear when he yelled at the refs? He was like, "I don't know what the hell you're doing in this league," and he was mic'd up for it.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
I love the coaches' mics.
That's good stuff. The sideline reports they've gone down. There's I guess when you got Pat McAfee acting a fool in week 1 and you got Matt McGloin being an idiot in week
just
2
shitting on
and
his
then
whole
week 3
team.
and then nobody really does a whole lot of anything. But it is good football now, so that's better.
Yeah, the football's
Agreed.
way better.
Yeah.
Agreed. Across the league, much better play. So I hope that trend continues. A trend I also hope that continues is fans showing up to the games, because Seattle has done it in back-to-back weeks. Now going into this next game, Seattle at Dallas, they all showed up to watch them lose, unfortunately.
Well, this Dallas team is not a very good first half team, but
They're hard to put away. Once they get
a little
that
bit of
steam
deja
rolling.
vu this week because even though Landry Jones looked like hot garbage in the first half, they get that running game going in the second.
Just a second half team. I mean, he throws 2 interceptions and then 3 touchdowns.
But overall, that was a fun game. Fun game to watch.
That was a good game. We were wrong on that. I know we'll get to our picks later, but I really thought Seattle's home of the fans were gonna really trouble Dallas a little bit more, but no, their kicker was.
Did you see Landry Jones's double pass?
Oh,
in this one where he threw the ball, they swatted it back
Swatted
to
down
him.
at the
Pete
line of
Graham
scrimmage.
just throws it right back to the receiver.
Yeah.
Now, what if that would have been our first double pass? What if we were 3 weeks in, losing our mind, and the first one happens to be this kind of junk play? No, I did see that. That was pretty cool.
And the first half, Seattle, Brandon Silver's throwing the pro, he was lighting them up. I really liked it, the way they looked, but they just couldn't hold it together in the second half.
They also had this moment where I learned an interesting rule about the kickoffs. One of the announcers was talking about a punt where it bounced in front of the goal line and then through the end zone. And that was supposed to come back to the 15 instead of the 35. They took them to the 35. But that is not on punts. That's only on kickoffs.
Gotcha.
We didn't know that. I didn't know that at the time. I'm looking up the rule at the same time the announcer's talking about it.
Yeah.
And here they are on the 35 instead of the 15, and the very next play was a turnover. And I was like, well, this would have been a huge difference if this turnover would have been on the 15-yard line.
Exactly.
Rather than the 35. So I'm like, well, it turns out that's on kickoffs. If they kick it, it bounces in front of the goal line and then into the end zone.
Then it's back to the 15.
Yeah.
Right. And then I saw that play used a little bit later. A kicker used that. He bounced it. The kick returner was set up all the way to the right.
Mm-hmm.
He kicked it to the left. It bounced, and it goes out of bounds because of the way he kicked it. And they brought it to the 15. And he's getting high fives on the...
Yeah.
Pat McAfee,
he was pretty pumped about that. Yeah.
Pat McAfee would have been losing his shit about it.
Yeah.
However, second week in a row, not on a single game.
Yeah, I think I saw an interview. I don't think he's coming back. He was he was pretty upset about not getting enough time on the mic.
I agree.
in the game.
Give
He
this
was
man the time.
Yeah. I don't. It doesn't look like Pat McAfee's coming back to do sideline reporting in the XFL.
Well, that's a huge bummer.
That is a bummer. But
Well, we also learned this week what an onside kick is when we get to the LA game because
that's right.
we thought it
Yeah.
was take
Didn't
what
know
4th
that
and
was a
15,
rule.
and that's not what it is.
What is it?
It's they have to announce it and then they just line up in an onside kick.
that's right. That is
Standard
they have
kickoff
to-
rules, but they have to announce that they're onside.
Yeah. Going back to the Dallas-Seattle game real quick. Landry Jones, Artis Payne, and then David, you called it
Yes,
too.
Donald Parham.
Parham, their tight end,
Yes.
101 yards, 2 touchdowns. Looks really
Physically
good.
saw this human being. He is a monster.
It's huge.
Yeah. He's a giant man, and he's fast.
And he's
too.
fast, and they
He's
run
good.
that air raid offense, and he is
Their
going to get...
defense is looking good too. Dallas,
And I
don't
think,
know.
like, Seattle, to give them their credit, the reason why Dallas, because at first Seattle came out playing hot,
Yeah.
but the penalties, like, they allowed Dallas to extend that drive, and that's what kept them in the game. And, like, Seattle, like, those are some huge, costly penalties that they had there.
Yeah. Dallas is, looks like they might be who we all thought they were at the beginning of the season. Looking pretty good now, shaking off that first loss to a very game St. Louis team. So,
They have a good offense.
and speaking of St. Louis, that's the next game we're going to talk about.
Yes.
St. Louis.
I mean, Seattle fans showed up, but the St. Louis fans
on Sunday morning
drank
yeah.
all the beer.
It's like
That's
29,000.
They literally, I put it on our Twitter,
They drank all the beer.
they drank all the Budweiser
Bud
in
Light.
St. Louis.
Bud Light had
No, they did not.
it was like a tailgate party. They were hosting a tailgate party before the game, and the fans drink
All of it.
everything, all the
An
beer.
hour before kickoff.
Yeah.
An hour. Like, there was still plenty of...
And they filled
tailgating.
up the dome that the Rams used to play in. People say St. Louis isn't a football team. They forgot to tell St. Louis
Yeah.
because they showed up and they were nuts.
Yeah.
That was a crazy game. They were going
A
absolutely
lot
bonkers.
of fans were dressed in the
War Eagle.
Yeah, Birds of War
Yeah.
from It's Always Sunny. Looking great.
And lucky for the fans, they were playing New York, so it got to be a lot of fun for them
Yeah.
because they put it on them.
Well, I mean, talking about fans, another really good group of fans would be New York's fans. I saw they had the streaker. They had the guy jump off the car onto a table. A lot of rowdy, but they've only had one home game so far, and that was their one win. So,
Yeah, I mean,
they need to show up because
we'll find out next week.
because the St. Louis fans showed up and their team showed up for them. It was very fun to watch. Because we got the first kickoff return for a touchdown in
Yeah.
XFL history.
On a reverse. That was really cool to see. That was,
I mean, I was watching it when it was happening in real time. I was watching a New York defender, and it looked like he had jumped before the guy caught the ball. And I remember thinking, because he was so far past the blocker,
yeah.
he was right there when the guy made the pitch, and he was going for the guy instead of the pitch, and I was just like watching a house of cards like come crashing down because then he got a good block, then he made a good move, then he took it to the house.
I will say that, yes, I was wrong. He did take it to the house. But there were blown tackles.
Yeah.
That's
like-
how kickoff returns work, buddy.
I mean,
No,
that's a fair point.
These were like legs wrapped up. That's just poor
It was,
tackling.
to me,
Like,
it was...
how do you not hold on to
It was
guy?
not like watching an NFL returner return it.
No.
Because it looked like... Yeah, it was...
I mean, my point still stands. It was not because of a gap in coverage.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. I will give you that.
But I'm saying, like, what I saw in the Tampa Bay game, like, those reverses when you have everybody line up like that, and then the ball carrier goes one direction,
Yeah.
everybody folds and falls around the backside.
Yeah.
Like, if you got a quick reverse man that can come around the end, you're going to have a lot of open field if you can get there. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, do you have a guy that's fast enough to get there?
Yeah. We've seen 2 reverses in the XFL, both one extremely successful for a touchdown, the
Yeah.
other was pretty successful too. You think we're going to see more coming up in the following weeks?
I don't know. I think that'll be the it'll either be standard so much that they'll start faking it all the time just to at least show it, so people have to, so the defense has to think about it. But I think this is how you score on these kick returns. Yeah. If you just run straight at them, you're not breaking through.
What about some cross-field laterals? Music City Miracle style.
What would you guys think about, like, instead of lining them up in lines that are straight across, to, like, let the blocking team sit up in
We've talked about this already. It's the kicker can kick it, and away from the lined up formation to the weak side. So I don't know the rules either.
Also, that becomes, like, not safer anymore because now, that seems like a terrible idea.
Yeah.
But I do like the idea of running reverses and running plays out of that, other than just straight like a zone blocking scheme.
Yeah, I think that's going to become a lot more prevalent. I think we're going to see it a lot more.
Especially in St. Louis. They got a hell of a coach in Jonathan Hayes in St.
They
Louis.
got a heck of a running back in Matt Jones.
Yeah.
95 yards. That's like
Jordan Teamo.
That's like 300 yards NFL, Is 95 yards a rushing record right now? That's a lot of rushing yards. And then they got a nice, young quarterback in Jordan Teamo.
Yeah.
But, speaking of yards, there was like 34 yards difference between these two teams, which the score doesn't tell that story, which I find interesting.
Here's my question of this game is, does Matt McGloin still have a job?
No way. Instagram model?
You talk to that guy from Tampa Bay?
Yeah, the guy from, he was from Dallas.
He was from Dallas?
Yeah,
that's right.
Landry's back up.
8 for 11, 84 yards.
That's terrible.
Yeah, and an interception that got him benched.
Yeah.
Compared to 7 for 15 for 94.
The only thing good he did.
The
only thing good he did. I'm sorry, David. The only thing good he did was not throw his team under the bus when they put a microphone in
and that's
his
a
face.
huge improvement.
You're right.
They also have Luis Perez, who was the number 4 pick in the draft, and LA traded him.
Yeah.
Like, why is this guy not playing? He got some playing time. He was 4 for 5 with 80 yards and a touchdown. Come on, like, what happened with this guy? Did he get hurt and now he's coming back, or?
I don't know. I just know that like their offense is going to have to do something to get over that LA defense next week. Like, if they want a chance.
So they were also playing the cadence of the quarterback over PA.
We were at the LA game, and they were.
Was annoying as shit.
I do not understand the reason for that.
For both teams?
For both teams, yeah. Technically, they say that it is. We could hear it. You
could
hear
it on both teams.
You can hear
They had it turned up at the St. Louis.
No, it was up.
Loud.
It was loud as shit.
They're playing it over the...
Was it every play?
It was weird. It was almost
weird.
Like it wasn't working right. Like,
yeah.
It wasn't the whole cadence. It was just...
They also had the play announcer was not on. It was like they had... They thought it was more important to play the quarterback cadence than it was to have a play announcer telling us what, who caught the pass, what the play went for, if it was a first down. It was really weird.
Well, while we were there, also, I think, because there was a while where they weren't playing music, they weren't playing nothing. I think the entire sound system of the stadium went down for a bit, but then they got it back to working again. But yeah, when everything was up and working, they had both Cardale Jones and Johnson's quarterback.
Johnson.
Yeah, they had their cadences coming through, and I was like, dude, this is weird.
That is weird.
And I didn't like it.
That was weird, and it would continue to play during the play too, so you could hear them grunting.
You could hear them grunting.
Yeah, you could hear them get hit.
We had a nice, oh fuck. Nice.
Well, let's wrap this St. Louis game up. I also wanted to say that we had a blocked punt and a 58-yard field goal by St. Louis, so their special teams with that kickoff return touchdown are crushing it.
Yeah.
And they
58-yarder, that's going to be a hard record to break.
Yeah, it is.
Fans show up, team shows up. That clearly doesn't make any sense because you guys went to this last game and the team showed up, but the fans did not.
Yeah, no, LA is not a good sports city.
You sons of bitches don't deserve an XFL team. Oh, I hope there's some LA people listening right now.
There's a lot of choice out here for where to spend your sporting dollars.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
We're sitting here wearing our Clippers.
And then also we were 0-2 at the time. We didn't even know. We didn't find out until this week that LA was actually a pretty good football team.
Yeah,
we suspected, but we got to see it. Bear and I talked about this some. The defense, which looked great for most of the game last week, They didn't have to spend as much time on the field this week, and they held it down pretty much the whole game.
Yeah, I love our defense. Like 4 interceptions. The way we played lights out defense and shut DC out.
Yeah.
Like they came in, we came out, hit him in the mouth. That one interception where dude knocked the receiver's mouthpiece out when he reached in there and grabbed it. Watching that live, I was like, ugh, that was nasty.
Yeah. Looked really, really good run defense. I thought maybe could a little bit better.
Yeah, they had a hard time, especially Jones. Just he'd keep it and find a gap in the middle. And
See, I think a mobile
that
quarterback
was good for 7 or 8 yards every time, pretty much.
Yes.
Yeah, a mobile quarterback is LA's Achilles heel right now on defense.
And my biggest problem was them not finishing in the red zone, and they found somebody to finish it in the red zone
Dude,
with this
Carter. Oh my God, he looked great.
It was
Unbelievable. He flipped his way into my heart.
2 flips.
Yeah.
He did 2 flips, 2 touchdowns, 2 flips.
How about McBride stepping up? I know he got taken out of the game. He got an illegal hit and got rattled and taken out for concussion protocol.
Trey McBride, yeah.
But, dude, he had a hell of a game. They were double covering Nelson Spruce, and so McBride said, throw it to me, and they just laid it out to him.
And Josh Johnson hit the passes. Yeah, that was great to see. Yeah, Trey McBride looked incredibly great. And I knew he had to have been good.
5
because
catches for 109.
Nelson Spruce was always their slot receiver.
Yeah.
So you knew that, one of those guys on the outside had to be good. And it turns out Trey McBride, not
The
a half
real
bad
deal.
vertical receiver.
He did have that one dropped one in the end zone that was frustrating.
He short-armed it, but he made up for it later in the drive by
He did.
Yeah, laying one out and getting that one. So yeah.
Dude's a stud. Like watching him play. Hope he's all right. Hope he gets to come back next week against Tampa Bay.
Anthony Johnson
Or,
can't
I'm sorry,
win with
against New
us, can't win against us.
Yeah, Anthony Johnson plays for DC now. He had a huge chip
He's
on
a
his shoulder
bum.
this game.
Goodbye.
And then
He's
talked a little trash before.
Oh, I know they took it down, but LA Wildcats on their Instagram put up a little video mocking him, putting his tweets up and everything.
Yeah, and then showing his numbers.
Oh, yeah. It was
Yeah.
beautiful. But they took it down. I don't know why.
Final score 39-9. LA Wildcats with the new XFL record for most points scored in a game.
That's right. Also, across the board, red zone efficiency is getting better for all the teams.
Yes.
And the scores are starting to show that. I think they're starting to click. I think next week's got a chance to be a really good, high-scoring, fun week.
Let's
Yeah.
talk about Cardell Jones for a second, guys.
He's a bum!
I let him know. I let him know at the game, maybe about 147 times. He is a bum. 4 interceptions. He did not look good. I mean, we were talking about our defense. Cardell Jones helped us out a lot. There was some.
By the way, his first loss since high school.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see how he handles it. Will he fall apart against Tampa Bay next week?
I mean, I think that Tampa Bay DC game might be game of the week next week because they're both gonna have a chip on their shoulder to come in. And yeah, Tampa Bay's gonna want that home win, gonna want to prove they deserve to be in this league. DC's gonna want to shake off what just happened in LA and prove that they're not as bad as the way they played. I think that's gonna be a hell of a game next week.
Yeah, that's the one to look at. Also, I wanted to bring up Stevens. Was it Marquise Stevens? He had 2 interceptions. He had 2 of those interceptions in that game. Looked pretty good. Pretty good.
I love.
Although
our
it was
defense.
really sad when they interviewed him afterwards. Now this wasn't. I don't think they played this live. But he had something that he wanted the crowd to chant. Did you guys catch that? Yes, sir, isms or something.
I could not understand.
The crowd couldn't understand either because he asked him to chant it, and he counted 1, 2, 3, and then everybody was like, "We don't know what you want to say."
Yeah.
And then he got another interception, and he goes, "Come on, guys, for real this time." 1, 2, 3, and then everybody was just like,
want to help.
Tweet at us. Let us know what you want us to chant.
Please.
We'll gladly chant.
Somebody.
It was so awkward. I felt so bad. We wanted to chant it. We were. What few LA fans showed up. I promise
know.
we wanted to chant whatever you were telling us.
LA. Los Angeles. It's a good show. Go watch some football. Gosh, come on.
Freddie Prinze Jr. was there, as was Sarah Michelle Gellar.
They were. LA Wildcats fans. Who knew?
Yeah, and the tailgate's fun, and the fans that are there, they're fun,
Yeah.
and we do get
We're
loud.
there.
It's a blast.
Yeah, we're there. Show up. We'll be there in 2 weeks for the Tampa Bay game. If you guys see us, we're wearing our XFL OL podcast t-shirts. Come up, say hi to us, take a picture with us. Tell us, what you think of the show. Even if it is bad, we'll blame it on David. So,
Fuck you, David.
anything else you guys want to throw out in this game? I actually know what I'm going to throw out one more thing too. This is what I've noticed at our game. If you guys are going to live games, the Play XFL app. a lot of fun. I've been having a lot of fun with this thing. You get to pick the scores. You guess the scores for the upcoming games. If there's 3 games that they have, you can win $500,000 if you get them all 3 right. It's incredibly hard because it's not exactly football scores that are showing up.
Exactly.
And then if there's 2 games that they have you pick, you can win $25,000 if you get them. Again, I don't think anybody's got it yet because it is incredibly hard to do. But they have a feature on this app called Play in Stadium, and if they use your GPS tracker, if you're in the stadium, they let you guess. You only play against the people in the stadium.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then you get to guess, like, everybody's stats.
You got to guess 4 things. It's not even the score.
Yeah, 4
the
categories.
score is 1, but 1, they'll ask which quarterback will have more passing yards, which receiver will have the most receiving yards, and how many yards do you think the running back will get. Now, I figured out this week, if you're listening, pay attention, because this could help you out tremendously. It did help me out. They let you put your picks in all the way up to, like, the end of the first quarter.
Yeah.
By this time, Trey McBride had already had about 60 yards receiving.
Yeah.
And, most importantly, they asked how many rushing yards Elijah Hood was going to have, who was inactive for the day.
So 0.
So 0. It was very easy. Nobody else caught on to that. I was able to win a VIP package, which ended up being season tickets, and $150 for the XFL.com store, which means $150 I can afford a football now.
And
One
get
XFL football.
and maybe expedited shipping on the football.
We'll see. We'll see.
How the fuck is the football $125?
We're gonna find out
Because
once
we're
we
all-
get that football.
It's for the love of football. That's that. It's,
Oh, that's
Oh,
so
man.
stupid.
They were sold out when we first looked at it, which meant
What?
people bought all the $125 footballs at that point. And
That's-
they got
Online.
some more.
Online, they're sold out for LA. Every other team I can get the football, but wait, who are these people that are buying the $125 football but not showing up to the game?
No shit.
What is
Like,
going on, LA? Anyway, like I said, the Play XFL app, we're not sponsored by it yet. Hit me, tweet us or email us.
Yep.
But yeah, check it out and take advantage of their lax rules because you can. It's pretty easy to win it. Everybody else is putting their information in before the game, but you can wait until like the first quarter. By then, you have a good idea which quarterback's going to score more passing yards, how many rushing yards. You get a good idea. So
well, maybe not. On any other week, it might have been a tougher call, but this week is very emphatic how things were going to go.
Oh, yeah.
It was,
Oh, yeah.
You were smart.
If one team can carry the momentum for the whole game,
Yeah.
there it is.
Oh, I went back actually and changed my score too.
Yeah, because you'd originally picked DC.
I did pick DC, but when I saw the beginning of the game, I go, this looks like this might be a whooping, boys. Which it ended up being, and a lot of fun. So, looking forward to see 8-2 the hard way. Let's go.
It's going to be a
8
tough
and 2 the hard way. I'm telling you guys.
It's gonna be
Just
tough.
maybe.
All right, 6-2 is Wesley. That's your record on your picks. Did you know that?
I did know
You're in
that.
the lead. You're the best in the lead. All right, so you're going to start us off with the picks for next week. Our first game next week is going to be LA at New York.
LA at New York.
Yes, the Guardians.
Boy, I got to go with this brand new
MetLife Stadium.
new and improved LA team. They're coming off a big win. I think they got things going. They've got a new, great-looking running back, and Josh Johnson's playing well. And this defense is looking good, too. So I'll go LA on this one.
I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to also say LA. I think this New York team is about to fall apart. I don't know. Luis Perez, that's going to be an interesting story. I mean, we traded this guy away. He might get his first start against us. Storylines. And then also New York at home is a real wild card because that's their only win.
Ask
I mean, it's not
Anthony
like this
Johnson
team
how
is-
well it is to get traded from the LA to another team and play him. So
Wah, wah, wah. Yeah, I'm going to pick LA too. I love this defense. I think our defense is, if we can carry this momentum from this week, that we're too much for New York to handle. I think their offense is going to have to do something to get the clicking. I think our defense gets some takeaways, puts our offense in a good position. I think, again, with this running back system we got now, switching between Rose and Carter, I think it's going to give problems to DC, and I'm picking LA.
Josh?
I mean, claws up across the board, right?
Claws up.
claws up. This is the first time
We're a bunch of hometown. What are we called?
homers.
Homers.
I mean, it's again. I don't even think. I mean, I think that most experts would make this pick as well. It's hard to pick against a self-demolishing New York team at this point. I think.
And a
That's
building
mine.
up LA team. Like
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
team is on its way up, the other team's on its way down. It's sad.
It's a young league, though. You never know,
I hope
man.
the fans show up, though. I
I'm
mean,
just happy to be 2-2.
Yeah. The over-under on this was 40. I think this is the lowest over-under of the week, too. No, it's I see now Seattle, St. Louis is a little bit lower. But 40, I mean, L.A. almost scored 40 points all on their own last week. So I would go on the over on this. A rare over on the XFL on this one. So
I'm going to stick with the under. I think, again, last time they played at home, that New York defense looked great. I think it's going to be a defensive battle, but I still think LA comes out on top.
Yeah, I say over also. I mean,
yeah.
I'm gonna say push. I think it's gonna be 18-2.
That makes 20, so that's the under.
The thing in the first half, you didn't let me finish.
Okay.
He just gave me his first half pick.
Got it. Got it.
What about the third quarter? David, what you thinking happens in the third quarter?
I'm gonna go over as well. I think Wesley made a good point. This team is starting to really pick up its offense, and now they got running backs that can put it in the end zone. So yeah, I definitely take over.
The next game, Seattle, St. Louis, Sea Dragons versus Battlehawks.
In St. Louis?
Yeah.
St. Louis.
Yeah.
Good luck, Dragons.
Makes them a 12-point favorite. Can they
I mean,
cover that spread?
I picked St. Louis in that one. They look good. Like, especially their special teams play. If it gets close, I think their special teams play is enough to make up for it.
I for sure have to go St. Louis, too. That crowd's going to show up. That team is running on all cylinders. They've got one tough loss under their belt, and I don't think they want to do it again. So,
especially not at home.
You know, their one loss is against Dallas, who just beat Seattle. So,
Josh,
I mean, I go St. Louis all the way. It's the number 1 team in the East versus the number 4 team in the West. Come on.
I also am going to take St. Louis. This is going to say a lot about our podcast on what we hit on this week. If we all pick all the same picks. But do you guys also think that St. Louis can cover the 12-point spread?
12 points. This is the largest spread of the week.
I think they
I'm
can.
very surprised by this. No, I do not think Seattle is going to cover the 12-point spread.
I agree with you, Wes. I think it's going to be a better game than that.
Yeah.
Seattle. You guys think Seattle at St. Louis?
No. I picked St. Louis, but I just don't think
understand,
they'll cover
but you
the
guys
spread.
don't think they can cover the 12 points.
12 points is a lot of points.
This is my pick of the week right here.
Okay.
This is what I 100% think St. Louis is going to cover the spread. They're going to win
That's
this
your
game,
lock.
and they're going to cover this spread. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, that's
Okay.
fair.
So would you also take the over in this one then?
38.5. Yeah.
I mean, you pretty much have to, right? Unless you think it's going to be a blowout.
I mean, it could be like a 27
I mean, yeah.
27 to 3
you know,
blowout.
I'm just saying. There's a lot of points that need to be scored there.
You know what? Yes, I'm going to take the over as well. I'm going to take St. Louis to win this game, to cover. Dude, when they lose this game, too, and everyone's like, and then
And the score is 18-2.
Yeah, they. That's my pick from the other game in the first half.
Jesus. Oh, boy. All right, next game. Houston at Dallas. David, who do you got?
I gotta go with Dallas here. Houston is good, but every team, I don't think, you guys think a team's gonna go undefeated. And then I also have Dallas to win the season. I still have Dallas to win the season. I have Dallas to be the champions. So I'm gonna take Dallas here to prove my point that they're still the favorites.
I'm gonna go against you here, and I like the way this Houston team looks. Dallas starts slow, and if Landry Jones can't get clicking fast enough, this Houston team's gonna run all over him. So I'm picking Houston.
It's a good point. You're picking Houston.
It's going to be a great day for Texas. But either way, there's only one undefeated team left in the league, and I want to go with them, Houston.
Yeah, guys, this is a fun game because I believe you gotta believe this is going to be the first rivalry in the XFL. Houston versus
For
Dallas.
sure.
The battle for Texas has got to be the first true rivalry. It's a tough one. This was a tough one on me. For whatever reason, I'm feeling Dallas on this one. Got to go back to best coach in the league. Houston has got to hiccup sooner or later. They've been too good. They've been way too good. These coaches are June Jones versus Bob Stoops. They've met a couple times too, I believe. And Stoops has always come out on top. I'm going Dallas on this one. It's at Dallas too.
Is it worth noting that Dallas's only loss is at home right now?
Yeah,
That's a
but that's
good
when
point.
they had an Instagram model as their quarterback.
That's true.
I'm just saying what I said.
Sure.
Yeah, that was without Landry Jones,
Sure.
Mr. Second Half. No, I do. It's going to be tough. Houston comes out and they start quick. Dallas starts slow, but Dallas
I
finishes
think PJ
strong.
Walker's going to have a hell of a day, and he's like, I can't wait. It's going to be a great game.
Yeah,
Next week's got some great games lined up for
It'll be
us.
fun. That right there is my game of the week. Over under on that one's 50.5. That one that's a high over under. Maybe not for week one what they thought the scores were going to be, but that's a high XFL over under. This one might have some fireworks.
Oh yeah,
you know.
Dude,
If Landry Jones,
offense, they sling the ball.
Yeah.
PJ Walker, he slings the ball.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Cam Phillips is running all around. This one's fun, man. The spread of this one's -1. Vegas knows this one's going to be tight. We might have our first overtime.
Oh
The
my goodness.
shootout.
I'm so excited.
So, you know what? That's my lock of the week.
Overtime. in this
Overtime, first overtime game. Houston at Dallas.
Is
I
that
said it here first, baby.
prop bet? We doing prop bets?
Yeah. I don't know why I'm saying lock of the week. That's
know, yeah.
really that's.
It's great advice. For
But no, I feel it. I feel it in my bones.
Well, so Houston, they were part of the overs the first 2 weeks, weren't they? Because there was one over each of the first 2 weeks that hit.
Yeah,
It was their game both times, right?
yeah, I think so.
I mean,
I think so too. Welcome to the I Think So podcast.
Listen, it's XFL comedy podcast. All right.
Yeah.
Our
When we
facts
don't know
aren't-
XFL,
yeah.
we'll
You
back
have
it
to
up
sift
with
through all the
comedy.
comedy.
they haven't scored less than 28 points in a game yet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that gets them halfway home.
Yeah.
And then Dallas does the rest of the lifting. I think Dallas's offense has gotten a lot better, including Donald Parham. And my player of the week that I'm going to guess for next week is going to be Cameron Artis-Payne.
Artis Payne.
This
That's
is
a good
two renegades in a row for me. I don't know. I'm just a renegade.
Oh.
I'm a renegade in Dallas Wildcat garb.
All right, and to cap it all off, guys, we got the toilet bowl. DC at Tampa Bay. You guys,
God,
Tampa Bay's the favorite. in this
Tampa
game.
Bay, the winless Tampa Bay is the Vegas favorite to win this game
for now.
for now.
Well, I think you made a great point. That's how bad we beat DC's ass.
Jesus Christ,
They
man.
were the best team in the league, and now people don't think they can beat the worst team.
How does
in the
that
league.
happen? How does that happen? I mean, last week we were talking. I said it. I said that Defenders were my pick to win the McMahon Bowl.
Yeah,
Defenders is in their name, and then they come out
can't
and
defend shit.
now Tampa Bay's the better team. What the fuck happened, man?
I don't know,
That is a beating.
dude. I
Tampa
think
Bay's getting better every game.
They
too.
are.
This
They
was
are.
their
look
best
great.
game they've had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'll be competitive. I think DC's got to go down there with a chip on their shoulder and come out with the win. Tampa Bay at home. It's going to be a great game. And this is the game I want to watch. This is the game I'm most excited for. I think
Quentin Flowers get the start.
He's got to. Yeah, at Tampa Bay, the crowd was going nuts for him last time,
I know.
and they
They showed him on the jumbotron, and they started cheering, and all they were doing was showing him on the jumbotron.
He was 4 for 6. I mean, he was not bad, and he's running. He's the better runner of the two. Now Cornelius isn't a bad scrambler, but
Yeah.
He's so
I just
short.
don't get
That's
it.
his
I
problem.
don't get it.
it's all up to Cardell Jones. Can he bounce back? That's the big question. We've never seen him lose
Well,
before.
there's one thing we know about him, and that's that he is.
He's a bum. He's a bum.
Dude, I think they're going to come out composed. I don't know, man. That Tampa Bay defense looks. My pick's DC.
DC.
I already said it. It's DC.
I keep picking Tampa Bay to win, and they keep proving me wrong. But I'm doing it again. Tampa Bay to win.
Eventually you got to be right.
I will. This team has to win eventually, and I'm telling you, they're getting better.
They are getting better.
They went from 3 to 9 to
18.
no 30
27.
27. That's tripling, right? Every
Out of-
single time. They're going to score 80 something points this next game.
But I mean, here's the thing, right? So they went from no offensive touchdowns to some offensive touchdowns. It's not like they've just overnight become the best team in the league. Although Vegas would apparently disagree. I think that it's going to go DC. I think they're going to come back. They're going to play strong, and they're going to pull out the win this week.
Bumsville, USA. Population Cardell Jones.
I'm telling you, man.
Tampa Bay all the way.
Yeah.
No, I knew it. I can smell a bum from a mile away.
He's a bum.
I knew it, and this guy. No, I was sitting there talking about him being MVP earlier this spot. No, Tampa Bay. You got to give them one, man. They got to do it, and
This is my
something
unlock
happened.
of the week.
Something happened to them DC defenders.
Oh yeah,
something
they
happened.
got exposed.
They did.
But this is the game that I feel like could go either way. I feel like this is a toss-up for whoever wants it more. If Tampa Bay wants it, like, they can come out and take it. But I think it's going to be a hell of a game.
Yeah.
I feel like the toss-up of the week is going to be that Texas game. I mean,
Yeah.
it,
Overtime, baby. First shootout. Shootout in Texas.
I'd love to see it. We saw, was it the first onside kick that we've seen?
That the first onside, yes. And
Yeah.
now we were under the impression. Did anybody look this rule up? Because it's driving me nuts.
I looked it up. Yeah, it's just standard it's standard kickoff like in the NFL, except they have to announce that it's going to be an onside
There
kick.
is no 4th and 15.
No.
Okay.
Where did that come from?
There was a video. They came out with the rules, the XFL rules video. I remember seeing it, and they talked about the onside kicks. They're getting rid of it. Now it's a 4th and 15. And if you go for it, you get it. You don't, you turn the ball over.
They must have changed that like week 1 and not told anybody.
That's a dick move, XFL.
Well, there was another interesting,
Could you imagine somebody running it like smoke draw? Houston Nut coming out.
we've talked about penalties off and on some, but what we haven't talked about is the officiating, right? They're very transparent. You get to hear what's going on in the booth when they're reviewing things.
Yeah.
But there were some things that happened this past week, one in particular at the LA game, that I didn't understand. And it was that interception that happened at about the 3-yard line.
Yes.
He ran it down
Talk
to
about
about
this.
the DC 30-yard line. I mean, it was a hell of a run. There was 2 penalties on the play. There was an illegal block below the waist, and there was unnecessary roughness, so hit out of bounds.
And they offset each
They
other.
offset the penalties.
Yep.
And they spotted the ball where the interception happened.
Not where he ran it to.
But if you watch that replay, he was never touched
No.
Yeah, but
when
it's
he
the
caught that
penalty.
ball.
Maybe it's because they offset, because maybe it's like where the spot of the foul.
No.
No.
The spot of the foul was way downfield.
I mean, the blocks and the...
What was the other foul? Personal foul?
Yeah, hit
They're
After
both
the play.
personal fouls.
Late
Maybe
hit.
it happened. Oh,
They both happened within 5 yards of each
Well-
other down where he ran the ball.
Well, because they offset each other, they
But-
place it.
I think it was a
where the
mistake in
turnover.
officiating.
I think it was a mistake as well. That did not seem right. It should have been at least where the either where the foul happened at the very least, or
Yeah.
just if they offset, then play stands where it ended. Not because it cost us 40 yards.
yeah.
Yeah, at least. I mean, it was outrageous. I mean, it was a hell of a run, a hell of a catch, and then that happened. I mean, took some of the wind out of the sails. I mean, we still...
And we also had...
That's the same thing as I was like that interception that happened. I was like, if it happened on the 35 instead of the 15, but it turns out that rule was right in the first place. So
We also had our very first call for, and I didn't know what they were going to call it. Then I heard it, and I know. But if they, the rule where the gunners can't run down the field on a punt until after the ball has been kicked. Ineligible player downfield, which, yeah, that makes sense. That's what it was called.
That was my prediction, by the way, of what it was going to be
Oh,
called.
nice.
which game was this in?
That was the LA
LA
game.
game.
Yeah, I
Right.
remember the announcer called it as soon as it happened. He goes, I think the guy took off early.
Yep.
Do you guys have any players of the upcoming week? I already made my pick, which would be Cameron Artis Payne. So anybody out there looking for some... speaking of last week, I said Donald Parham, so I'm the guy to listen to. Also, who had Nelson Spruce? Had
That would be me.
Yeah.
70 yards was pretty decent.
I mean, pretty
4
good.
tackles for Branch.
Second best on his team.
He almost cost you those tickets, bro.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. After Trey McBride got knocked
And
out.
Wesley said Matt McGloin, so no, I'm joking. Wesley said PJ Walker, so he may have also won.
Yeah, but I still, again, I
3
don't know
touchdowns.
who's the good. I mean, like, Cam Phillips is the one catching all the touchdowns.
Yeah, but look,
Yak.
PJ Walker also had that
Yeah.
bad snap that he ended up
Yeah.
scrambling in for a
Yeah.
touchdown. Like, dude's no joke.
No, he is not. He is not. Also, what do you guys think about him changing his name? In the NFL, his name was Phil Walker.
Philip Walker.
Yeah,
And
changed
now
it
it's
to
PJ.
Like it a lot
He
better.
was personally endorsed by Andrew Luck to his dad, and his dad was like, hey,
the
let's go.
commissioner. Yeah, Andrew Luck's dad is a commissioner of the XFL. Andrew Luck, who played for the Colts with him, said you got to check this guy
Hey,
out.
check this guy out.
Got him a job. Now he is. Here he is.
That's awesome.
Front runner for MVP. Way to go, Phil.
Co-MVP.
Yeah, that's right.
My player of the week, as long as they start him again, going to be Martez Carter, because
Yes.
that kid has ability and talent and motherfucking showmanship.
Mr. Excitement guy. Dude gets a nickname
Yes.
in one game. How's that happen?
So
Good for him.
Like, he earned it.
Oh my God. So
Yeah.
good.
And he's going to be my second choice, Martez Carter, for Player of the Week. I want to see McBride come back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Trey
like-
McBride.
Yeah, I think as long as he's not on some type of concussion protocol keeping him out, like I don't know how bad that hit was that took him out. I haven't seen any news on it. But if he's playing, he's my Player of the Week because I think he might be how we expose the Guardians defense.
My player of the week, Matt Jones, St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's getting over 100 yards. I think he's setting that record, and it's going to be untouchable. So here we go. 100-plus yards rushing, Matt Jones. All right.
So, do we have time for my question of the week?
That's right. We actually had no listener emails. So we are going to throw it over to Josh
guys?
for...
Send us emails.
We'll see. So we're going to throw it over to Josh for his very own segment. Josh, you got a name for this segment?
Yeah, it's going to be Josh's tough question of the week. This week's tough question. We're 3 weeks into the XFL season, guys. We've seen some fun games. We've seen some not fun games. My question right now is, would you rather live watch a good XFL game or a good college football game? Live.
XFL, because at least I know those people are getting paid.
Well, some college players are. This is a good... I see why you call this the tough question. This is a tough question.
I was going to say, there's some thinking.
Yeah, because, man, I like watching the Razorbacks play when they're good, which I hadn't got to do that since I was a kid, but...
Yeah, no, college games, I mean, especially big colleges, it was nice to go out there to Dignity Health Field and be with 11,000 people, but there's nothing like 70+ thousand people.
Yeah.
It's the tailgate experience is way, way better.
Well, I think, and this is, it gets to it. The XFL is about for the love of football, but college, they're not getting paid. It's really for the love of football.
Yeah, it doesn't get more for the love.
Also,
you're doing it for free.
there's a broad spectrum. You've got a USC game versus a UC Davis game or something like that. You've got all these small, what's the worst XFL game? A Tampa Bay game? That's at Raymond James Stadium. That's where WrestleMania is this year. What's the worst stadium in the XFL? Now think of the worst college stadium. That dampens it.
If you haven't been to an XFL game and you haven't seen an XFL game, which I don't know why you'd listen to this much of this podcast if you hadn't, but look at how tough of a choice this is. College football is fun as shit. These XFL games are fun as shit.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's yeah, I think it'd be more fun to go to a college football game, but I had to think about it. That's how good of a time I've been having with these
pros
XFL
and cons.
games.
There's pros and cons. Honestly, I think we kind of tested under this question earlier, and my initial reaction was XFL because it's quicker. There's more stuff going on in timeouts and everything. Halftime's only 10 minutes, and I don't have to watch a marching band.
Yeah, marching bands, boo.
Yeah.
But the tailgating at a college is a little bit
get
better.
booze at a
XFL
college
might
game?
get better.
Depends on the college.
Yeah.
Now, I will say the other thing.
Every
and
XFL
this
game.
This is something that factored into it for me as well, and I wonder if you guys thought about this at all. Because it's been around longer, there's more stories with college football. There's rivalries. There's weight and history behind it. And that adds to the excitement to me as well. Whereas the XFL, we don't have that yet.
Yeah.
But we get to create it, and we get to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And that's what's fun for me.
That is.
Because there's going to be our first LA has a big rival, and we're probably going to be at that game.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Yeah.
that's one thing that's fun for the
I
XFL
totally
for
agree
me
with that,
is that, we get to be fans from the beginning.
Yeah.
And it's fun jumping on a team when there is no history, and you can just identify with it.
We just came back from a Clippers game where we watched the Grizzlies play, and I grew up in Michigan and I grew up in Arkansas, which is closer to where Memphis is. And somebody was like, "Why weren't you a Pistons fan? Pistons were way better than the Grizzlies for a long time." And I was like, "Yeah, but I got to be a Memphis Grizzly fan since they moved to Memphis.
Yeah,
that was
yeah."
Their basketball arena that I went and saw them play in, the Pyramid, is now a Bass Pro Shop.
The largest in the world.
That was my first NBA game. In a Bass Pro Shop.
All right, well, that's Josh's tough question of the week this week. With all that being said, even though we seem to prefer college games by and large, XFL is still fun as shit. You should go live if you get a chance.
Totally.
Definitely check it out.
Yep.
Gamble on it, too. It's fun.
Yeah, it's not bad. All right, guys. Well, that wraps it up for week 3. A much better week, I think we can all agree.
Yes.
Out of the
sophomore
slump.
slump's done. Hangover has been cured with some spicy Wildcats wins.
Yeah.
That's right.
Or just win. Just one win.
For the love of football. This is the XFLOL podcast, you guys.
Are you
XFL OL podcast. The podcast nobody asked for.
Love
We're
of
doing
the
it.
love. That's what the LOL stands for.
For the love of football.
That's it.
That's so hard right now. That's so awesome.
That's it. All right, guys. Well, that wraps us up. I've been.
We just wrapped this up. Why are you still talking? I'm gonna do a fade out on this, right?
Follow me on Instagram at Bear the Comic.
Hey,
BAIRTHECOMIC.
Follow us on subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Find us. Follow us on social media. hit us up. Send us email. Send us questions.
Oh, no, we can wrap it up. What's going on now?
Fade out, bitches.
You're a bum, Cordell.
No time to waste. Tonight's the